it wasn't for these books, I'd blend into the background and I'd just be a floating head. Ooh. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alyssa and today I wanted to show all the books that I read in January, which was not a whole lot. I had a really hard time focusing on reading this month, to be completely honest. My brain just did not want to stop going. So instead of reading, I played Sims. Honestly though, not even mad because I had a great time. I also discovered Pokemon Go this month with some friends of mine. We've all started playing it, so that's kind of been a thing. So reading was not the focus of this month as I wanted it to be. I did end up finishing 2 books. I started a few books. So let's get started. This intro has been way too long. So the first book I finished was Crown of Feathers by Nicki Preto. And I'm gonna tell you right now, everyone needs to read this. It is so good. This is the story about 2 sisters, Veronica and Val, and mostly you follow Veronica and her journey to becoming a Phoenix writer after her jerk sister does some pretty terrible things in their lives and at the beginning of this book. From there, Veronica finds the legendary Phoenix Riders, but in order to join them, she has to disguise herself as a boy because they only take boys, which is dumb. We also follow a couple other perspectives. We follow Tristan, who is the son of the lead guy of the Phoenix Riders. We also follow Sev, who is a animage, which all the characters in this are, and he is disguised as a soldier in the opposing force. And we just follow those characters as well as Veronica and her journey to becoming what she has dreamed of. This book was so good. I said that already, but I will say it again. This book was surprising. I did not expect to be as engrossed and as excited to pick this up as I was. I've been struggling with YA fantasy for a while, and this just kind of reminded me why I love it. But at the same time, it doesn't read young adult unless you're specifically reading the characters, because the characters are younger and they do seem a bit naive at times, but there's like reasons as to why there's naivety. For instance, Veronica is probably a very innocent, kind of dumb character sometimes, but in the best way, because she doesn't understand the world, because she's been hidden and hiding and trying to keep to herself for so long because animages are hunted and killed or enslaved, and she's like, I don't want that. Who would, honestly? I feel like the world building alone is where it falls into it doesn't read like YA. It's so rich and interesting, and there's so much folklore and history, and what's really cool is all the characters just know it off the top of your head, so you're not learning along with them, they are teaching you, and I think that's such a great way to explain the world, and it's just fantastic. There are so many twists and turns in this book that I did not see coming, and some I did, but I was still shocked. Honestly, the first like 30 to 50 pages, I guess, I was hooked. Something happens in the beginning and it wrecked me. I was destroyed, deceased, dead. So obviously I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely loved this. This was just what I wanted and just what I needed. It was fast-paced, interesting, and unique. So the next book that I finished literally last night, like the last day of January at like 11:30, and that was Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This is actually a reread for me. This is my first time rereading it. It's been years since I've read this book, and it was so good. This is a hard one to explain without spoiling everything, but essentially it follows 2 main characters, Kaoru and Akiva, and kind of how their lives are connected in some strange but unknown way. There's magic, there's beautiful writing, it's just so good. I really can't say a whole lot because, again, it would just spoil the whole thing. I feel like Laini Taylor's books you need to go in not knowing a whole lot, and honestly, this one is exactly the same way. The writing is top notch. Like, so good. I love her writing. I loved Strange the Dreamer, so obviously I loved the writing in this. The side characters were also really interesting, and I forgot how much I liked Akiva. Akiva is such a great character. He has so many layers. You don't really see a whole lot of them in this book, but I imagine you get to see more of him in the next books, and I just really liked him. He was cute and sweet, and you just want to hug him. Kaoru was awesome. She was strong. She didn't take anybody's crap, and it was just so refreshing to see. And the twists I forgot about from the first time reading this still shocked me, and I completely was blown away, and I am going to continue the series like ASAP because I don't want to forget and have to reread this again, because it is high time I finished this trilogy. So I gave this like a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was a little slow at some moments, and there were some things that just didn't quite make sense, but again, I think that'll come more into play as the next books go on, because this one's really just setting the stage for the bigger expanse of the world. On to the books that I did not finish because I was so distracted this month. So the first one I actually started like a week ago, not gonna lie, and I'm listening to it on audiobook, and that is The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. Another reread. I'm like in a reread mood, I guess. I don't know. This is the sequel to The Raven Boys. It's a fantasy story that takes place in Virginia, and these characters are trying to find a dead Welsh king on a ley line in this town. And weird things happen. You know, there's sidekicks, and there's magic, mayhem, hilarious one-liners. And this one's no exception so far. I'm like 50-ish pages into this book. It's kind of long, and I am listening to it slowly on audiobook. I started listening to it on audiobook because I actually joined a gym this month. I know. Another thing to distract me. I am listening to this while I work out, and it has been such a pleasure. I love the narrator of these audiobooks. His accent is just on point, and they're just so good. They're so good, and it's been years again since I've read these, and I'm thrilled to be rereading them. Next one I started, got 30 pages in, and decided to put down because my brain was just not in the mood for it. The focusing problem this month. And I'm definitely going to pick it up again at some point when I'm in the mood, but right now I'm just in the mood for fast-paced books that don't take forever to read. That is Peace and Turmoil by Elliot Brooks. I really want to read this, but my brain just could not focus, and I was so confused, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to put this down, pick it up another month when I'm ready, because I want to fully absorb this story, and I really want to know what the heck is going on. So yes, I started it, I put it down. I definitely want to pick it up again very, very soon. It is a chonker, so I was definitely not in the mood for this one, but that's okay. Sometimes you just aren't. It's all right. And the last book that I picked up and started and definitely didn't finish was Heart of Flames by Nicki Preto. I had to pick up the sequel. I got so absorbed in Daughter of Smoke and Bone that I didn't finish this, so this is high priority for next month. This, again, is the sequel to Crown of Feathers, and I love this edition so much. It's so pretty, and I'm like 160 pages in. So far, it's just as good as the first one. We get a new perspective, and I am living. It's so good. I'm terrified to find out what happens because this one is a lot longer, and I believe the third book comes out this summer, so I need to finish this so I can be prepared mentally to find out how it ends. And she's definitely like an auto-buy author now because I love these. They're so good. If I could recommend you one book in this whole video, Crown of Feathers, and then this one. So those are all of the books I read or started in January. I'm super proud of myself for just finishing 2 books, to be honest, with how unfocused I was, but I'm back in the reading mood now. My Sims are thriving, so I don't need to play anymore. And yeah, I've got a really interesting TBR set up for February, so stay tuned for that video. So let me know down below what your favorite book you read this month was, and of course, give this video a thumbs up if you want to. No pressure here. And subscribe if you haven't, because I come out with videos at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, if I'm feeling feisty. So thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you very, very soon in the next video. Bye-bye!